Good evening, everyone. We will start in 1 minute. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Before we start the proceedings, may I ask everyone to stand up for the singing of the national anthem. Everyone to stand up for the singing of the national. Thank you, everyone. Please take your seats. So it's a very happy occasion that we are celebrating today. Good evening and welcome to the UP College of Law's Testimonial Dinner and Thanksgiving Fellowship in honor of our 2022 bar examinees. Before we begin our proceedings, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the following members of faculty who are here with us tonight in person, starting with our former deans. Former Dean Pacifico Agabin, he's here. Judge Raul C. Pangalangan is also here. And of course, former Dean and former UP President Danilo L. Concepcion. We also have several members here present in Malcolm Hall today. Former Justice Francis Hardelesa, Professor Rosa Maria Bautista, Professor Tess Herbosa, Professor Ed Labitag, Professor Associate Dean Solomon Lumba is here also. Ma'am Beth, Professor Beth Pangalangan is here. Medyo Professor Mirna Feliciano, of course. And the other members of the faculty, I might run out of time. But thank you very much for being here. Also, we have members of the faculty watching via Zoom. Tonight is a night of celebration for the achievement of our 2022 bar examinees. The College of Law and indeed the entire university are celebrating your success. We are all very happy for and proud of you for your collective achievements and congratulate you wholeheartedly, especially since you had to spend 2.5 years of your stay in the college online and study and review for the bar during the pandemic in order to get to this point. You overcame hurdles none of the older lawyers, save for the bar 2022-2021 passers, have encountered. Having 11 of your batchmates be included in the top 30 bar takers with a 95.02% passing rate also means that the UP community, especially the UP Law community, has at least a year or so of bragging rights. We are also proud that quite a number of the examiners for the 2022 bar exams came from the ranks of the college's faculty. We would like to acknowledge them also for the vital role that they played in the 2022 bar exams, starting with Professor Tess Herbosa, who is here. She is an examiner for commercial law. Our Professor Dante Gatmaitan, also an examiner for political and international law with related tax principles. Professor Luisito V. Liban for Labor Law. Retired Judge Augusto Jose Areza for Criminal Law and Practical Exercises. Professor Hector M. De Leon Jr. for Civil Law 1. Professor Joanne A. De Venecia Fabul for Civil Law 2. And Professor Victoria Avena for Remedial Law 1. So you all have experience answering their exams. Okay, to give their messages to our bar passers tonight, we have two alumni of the College of Law. Our first speaker also recently gave the UP Law community a chance to celebrate with his selection as the 12th Chancellor of UP Diliman, the first Chancellor from our college. Without further ado, I would like to call on our Dean and now Chancellor of UP Diliman, Edgardo Carlo L. Vistan II, to deliver his message for our 2022 bar passers.
Thank you, Ma'am Chi. Let me begin by saying, ang galing-galing naman talaga ng UP Law, no? Palakpakan natin tayong lahat. I was honestly thinking after the results of the 2020 and 2021 bar exams, where we got 4 out of the 14 unranked excellent passers, no, that was already about more than 25% of the what would be the equivalent of the top 10 then. Can we do better? And the next batch answered that question. And I have a tendency to think optimistically that we can always push ourselves to do more. And I'm very glad that the 2022 bar exam, our 2022 bar examinees proved that notion correct. And I think that's something that will inspire not only the UP Law community, but the whole University of the Philippines community. We here in the university and in UP Law pride ourselves with being excellent, no? Excellent individuals. Kaya nga honor and excellence, no? But I think the batch or the class of 2022, our 2022 bar passers or bar takers elevated the notion of excellence to greater heights, and I think that's good for us. In a time right now where there are problems that seem to be incomprehensible or unmanageable, no? Issues like global warming, climate change, massive poverty, a long drawn-out war in Europe. What can we do, no? What can we do to solve these things? And I think by the performance of our 2022 examinees or bar passers, you have just shown our community, if not the world, that by collectively, no, by doing more as a group, there's no limit to what we can achieve. And for you, I think that's a good starting point to your careers. As I said, there are many challenges nowadays, challenges that were not existing at the time that I became lawyers, at the time that your faculty became lawyers. But you show that you can do more than what the previous crops or batches of UP Law graduates can do. I think I've said somewhere that to be, as some of the faculty have said, dominating the top 30 in the way you did, no? And even bagging the top 5 positions is historic, if unprecedented, I would say. But beyond bragging rights, no? Beyond bragging rights, our new, soon-to-be new lawyers should take this as a challenge, no? A challenge that now we know how good you are among all the future lawyers, so we expect much of you. We expect, the society, our country expects much from your generation. But as I said, we really just have to celebrate the blessings, no, that the good fortune, the blessings, the results of all the hard work that you put in, that our faculty put in, that the staff, the whole UP Law community put in to producing this crop of UP Law graduates and soon-to-be lawyers. Okay? So, I want to make this message, this opening message short because we have 11 top-notchers to listen to. And I want to give the stage to them. But before I end, please, I hope our bar passers, our graduates, can join me in thanking, first of all, okay, of course, your loved ones, your family, for the support that they gave you when you were taking this, the 2022 bar exam. So let's give them a round of applause. Your family, loved ones, friends, partners. So the next would be the faculty. The faculty who I think we all have to thank them because were it not for their excellent mentoring, tutelage, training, and teaching, you will not have accomplished what you would have accomplished today. And it's not just about the excellent number of top passers or bar placers that we got, but the overall passing rate, of this batch is very good, despite the more difficult bar exam compared with the 2020 and 2021 bar exam. So please join me in thanking our faculty for what you have achieved with your bar exam results. Palakpakan po natin lahat ng ating faculty. Okay, so, but that's not all, though. We also have to give thanks to the other members of the UP Law community who helped you, along the way. There are many of them, the staff, the library staff, the OCS staff, the Office of the Dean staff, all that you've known, the administrative personnel that you met during your time here and that served the college to help you reach this point in your lives. Isama na rin natin ang ating law alumni, okay, who have been supportive of all your activities throughout the years, and even the bar ops that supported you in taking the bar exam last November. So palakpakan po natin sila. Special mention should go also to the Bar Ops Commission, headed by Bea Zamora. Can you please go up front? So, ang lucky charm ng ating law school. Are your other commissioners here, Bea? Okay. So Josh is also here, Pascual. So let's thank all of them by giving them a round of applause. A big round of applause. Thank you, Bea. So I think I will lead the toast later. I will reserve some of my words for that. But I think that our audience should give the last round of applause, at least at this turn, my turn, of course, to our bar passers. You make us all very proud. You make us all very proud. Congratulations to all of you. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Vistan, for your message for our examinees. I'm sure that they are as happy for and proud of your success as you are with theirs. We, the faculty, staff, alumni, and students of the college, are all behind you to support you in your new role as UP Diliman Chancellor. We would next like to call on another alumnus of the college and another source of pride for the college. He was formerly a member of the Board of Regents and is now the 22nd President of the University of the Philippines, following the footsteps of our beloved PDLC. Let us all welcome President Angelo A. Jimenez to deliver his message for the bar passers.
The German Minister of State and Special Envoy for Climate Action, because I have a commitment to accompany her in her climate consultations here. But I really didn't want to miss this occasion, so even if online, I would like to express the entire UP system's pride and joy on the accomplishment of our dear beloved college, particularly our latest bar examinees. Perhaps I will be forgiven for giving into a surfeit of exuberance in this happy occasion, and I would like to ask forgiveness in advance, but truly, I am impressed. I am flabbergasted. I am positively discombobulated by this truly amazing feat of dominance in a licensure exam, which I have not heard of in any recent memory. But for this, I would like perhaps to remind our successful examinees, our pride today, that maybe it is, as we celebrate, maybe it is also a good time to give thanks and express our gratitude to our families, our parents, spouses, friends, and most of all to our teachers who made this all possible, whose committed and dedicated mentoring made us really successful students. And I would also like to give special thanks and congratulations, to Dean Carlo Vistan, our Chancellor, for this great achievement under his leadership of our college. And of course, it should be shared, I feel, justly with the immediately preceding Dean Deng Cordero Tan. Of course, we know that if our deans can stand very tall or see very far, it is because they are standing on the shoulders of giants. And I am referring to the other deans who made this all possible as well. I'm talking, of course, of my professor and former president, Dean Danilo Concepcion, lest I get into trouble for failing to mention him, as well as the deans present here today, Dean Pangalangan, Raul Pangalangan, Dean Agabin, and of course, I think I cannot see him here, Dean Marvic Leonen as well. They should really be congratulated as well for keeping up, lighting up the torch of excellence in our college. But we all know that in celebrating, we have to remember that what, to my mind, makes us truly a grand manner in terms of education is that every UP Law student comes into the college, works hard, studies, knowing that they have to meet the great expectations of our people. In the last few days, I've been talking to students, many students. Just recently, I was talking to the just graduated students of the UP College of Medicine who are now interns at the PGH. Today, I spoke to students in Tacloban as well as the faculty. And I kept reminding them that UP education is free. And in case of the College of Law, is highly subsidized. But there is really no such thing as a free education. That for every peso that is spent on our education in UP, it's 1 peso less taken from the sick who cannot afford medicine. It's 1 peso less for our kababayans who are homeless and who cannot pay for housing. It is 1 peso less for our, say, the poor sectors like our farmers who cannot afford to eat a decent meal despite the fact that their job is to produce food. And so this free education we're talking about that we are enjoying, in the case of the College of Law, this highly subsidized education that we are enjoying was paid for by the lives of others more needy, more needing help than us. But they are giving this freely because they have great expectations that our best and the brightest will serve them, will become tools of national progress and development and prosperity and justice for all. So that is the heavy burden which I guess makes UP law education great. So I would just like to make this important message that as you move on to your career, you excellent lawyers, please do not forget that we have a moral obligation for our people, and they have great expectations from you. And I hope and I trust that you will not fail them in the great endeavors that you will soon be undertaking in your life. But today, it's a happy occasion, and I can only wish you luck. And once again, we, the entire UP system, and I speak for them truly, are proud of you. I'll just mention this to the students and teachers of Tacloban today, just today, and they all applauded. You can just see that the entire system, in fact, the entire nation has noticed your feat. Kayo po ay mga scholar ng bayan at hopefully kayo po ay magsilbi ng sambayanan. Magandang umaga at maraming salamat. Magandang gabi po at maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, President Jimenez, for your inspiring message to our examinees and for your reminder that of our moral obligation to serve the people, because our UP Law education comes at a cost and was paid for by the lives of others. Before we move on to the next part of our program, I would just like to acknowledge the presence of our other lecturers who are present here today, and our other lecturers and members of the regular faculty who are also present today in Malcolm Hall. Professor Michael Pugh is here. Professor Joel Raquedan. Professor Kester Sonkua. Professor Peter Barot. Professor Josel Dilag. Professor Bayan Quinones. Professor Raymond Bagilat. Professor Virginia Viray. Professor Arnel Casanova. Professor Glenda Litong. Professor Grace Quevedo Panagsagan. Professor Celeste Sembrano Malyari. Professor Froilin Pagayatan. Professor Oliver Reyes. And Professor Daniel Lising. Okay, so we now move on to our next part of the program, the messages from our 11 members of the top 30 top-notchers of the 2022 bar. So I was instructed to call first, no, save the best for last daw. So we will start with, so mag-iintay na lang muna si ating number 1, no? So we'll start with 30th place, top 30, Miss Patricia Marie Eugenio Ignacio.
Hi everyone, good evening. So I was told that we had to make a speech about our experiences during the bar, to detail these experiences. However, I think there are too many stories to tell, and I'm sure that my fellow bar top-notchers have a lot of very inspirational and motivational stories to tell, so I leave that up to them. Instead, let me share one particular experience that I had. Let me share with you how soju, the Korean drink, saved me during the bar exam. So as the bar exam season was coming closer, I decided to adjust my sleeping schedule so that I could sleep earlier and wake up earlier to prepare for the exam. So I was told that chamomile tea would actually help me relax and sleep easier and better. So I took the habit of drinking chamomile tea every night. However, the night before the first day of the exam, I had a very difficult time sleeping, mainly because of anxiety. I already drank 2 cups of chamomile tea, but still, I couldn't get a wink of sleep. I think I only got 2 hours of sleep that night. And on the night before the second day, the same thing happened. I couldn't get enough sleep. And I remember telling my mom on the second day of the exam, "Ma, pagod na ako," and the day has not even started yet. And so on the night before the third day, I know that I had to do something else. And so when everyone else in my house was asleep, I decided to sneak downstairs. I opened the refrigerator. I took out a bottle of soju and had 3 shots of soju. And I went back to my bedroom and had a good night's sleep. And thank God that I did that, because the third day of the exam was the dreadful civil law exam. I don't know how I could have answered and finished civil law 1 and civil law 2 had I not been able to get enough rest the night before. And since I already learned my lesson, I did the same thing on the night before the final day of the exam. I'm telling you this story not to tell you to also drink soju the night before an exam. I'm telling you this because there's no one way of going about the bar examination. Each one of us have different coping mechanisms. Each one of us have different experiences. And we cannot just do what others tell us to do, or dahil ito na yung nakasanayan, ito na yung gagawin ko. So in times, we usually have a schedule. We like to stick to this schedule. We wake up at this time, we study, we eat, and then we study again, we sleep at this time. But there are unexpected circumstances that could happen. And so we have to learn to adjust to this situation and find a way, find a method that actually works for us, that works perfectly for us. And had I not drank that soju the night before the third day of the exam, maybe things could have been different. Maybe the result could have been different. And so that's a story of how soju saved me during the bar exam. So before I end this very short speech, let me take this opportunity to thank a few people. First of all, thank you to my blockmates from Block C 2022. I'm very proud to say that we have a 100% passing rate. And 3 of us from Block C are bar top-notchers. Block C became my close friends and family. I also want to thank one particular blockmate. Neil passed the bar, so pinapakita nito na kaya naman palang pagsabayin ang bar at jowa. And most importantly, thank you to my family. My parents, my mama and papa are here today. Thank you for stocking up soju in our refrigerator so I had something to drink that night. And thank you so much for the never-ending support. I really could not have done this without you. Congratulations again to all bar passers, and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you and congratulations, Patricia. So before we proceed with the next speaker, we would just like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Marian Lozada Marquez. She's also here, one of our lecturers. And Professor Maria Golda Gigi Menyoza. Up next is our number 28. May we call on Aaron Darren Pasumbal Marquez to deliver his message. So he's not yet here, he's not ready. We call on number 23, Joji Marie Insular Sullivan.
Hi everyone. So I would like to start my speech by saying that I am also from Block C. So go Block C. We were asked to share our experience during the bar, so here it is. So going into the bar, I had no expectations that I would actually rank 23 because actually in law school, I was an average student. I even failed a few of my I almost failed a few of my subjects in law school. In particular, I even had to take the removals examination for my criminal law 2 subject, and for my remedial law subjects, I even had conversations with my blockmates if I should drop the exam because the subject because the results of my midterms were pretty low. Even in my civil law subjects, I even had experiences of failing the finals examination. So as you can see, I'm not the exceptional student that one would expect a top-notcher to be. So my mindset going into the bar was really just to work on the subjects that I was weak on, in particular criminal law, civil law, and remedial law. And I just wanted to make sure that I met the standards for passing the bar. And even during the bar, I can recall almost crying after the second part of the civil law examination. And I was already strategizing of when I would study for the next bar examinations because I wasn't sure if I would pass the bar this year. And even days before the bar, my blockmates can attest to how nervous I was and how unsure I was if I would even pass. I would tell them of my strategies on how to prepare for the next bar and how long I should mourn if I fail and how many months I can prepare for the next bar. But I guess even the most average person can make it to the top. And I'm just thankful because the results for this year exceeded my expectations. So now I would like to highlight the people who helped me, who were behind this result in prepping for the bar. Because prepping for the bar is far from a one-man or one-woman effort. It is a culmination of many people's support, efforts, prayers, and even anxiety. First, it is a result of the people who shared their bar resources with me. So thank you to my blockmates because from day one of law school up to our bar preparations, they were generous enough to share their knowledge, their time, and resources just so everyone in our block can have the best opportunity to pass the bar examinations or even pass law school. And thank you also to my law school friends who are already alumni and even current students who lent me their books and sent me copies of reviewers and even gave me last-minute tips. Second, thank you to my friends who studied with me tirelessly, day in and day out. My blockmates, Ruth and Neil, who studied with me via Zoom, and even law friends outside of our university, who also accompanied me to make sure that I was studying every day. And third, I would like to thank my law school professors because they made sure that the training in our school prepared me for the bar as early as first year in law school. And lastly, of course, I would like to thank my family for providing me with whatever I needed because I did not think of anything else other than reviewing and preparing for the bar examination. And just to share an anecdote, while taking the second part of the civil law examination, I almost cried because I couldn't answer anything even after 20 or 30 minutes of staring at the bar review questions. And even after the exam, when my mom fetched me, she was the one who cried for me because she saw that she heard from the other examinees that the exam for civil law was difficult. So instead of me crying, it was my mom who cried. So thank you to my mom who is here. And also thank you to my dad who never pressured me, even as I said that I wasn't sure if I could pass this year's examination. He told me that if I didn't pass, I could just take it the next year. So in conclusion, thank you to everyone who I mentioned and even failed to mention. I couldn't have passed and more so gotten a high score without your efforts. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you and congratulations, Georgie Marie. Before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Leo Batad, Professor Theodore Te, Professor Gwen De Vera, and Professor Arnie De Vera. So second call for Mr. Marquez. Is he here? If not, we proceed with number 17, Luis Gabriel Arevalo Perez.
Hello, good evening. Chancellor Vistan, President Danilo Concepcion, esteemed guests, faculty members, my professors, batchmates, blockmates, fellow bar passers, and most importantly, friends. Good evening. I have to admit, I was a little taken aback when I was informed that I was requested to deliver a speech today regarding my bar journey or my experience in the bar. As my close friends and family know, I'm not one for public speaking. I'm actually shaking right now. And please forgive me for reading kasi hindi talaga ako sanay. And I was never the one to deliver the speech in front of several people. In fact, I'd be just as happy sitting in the back and watching my friends receive their several accolades as I have been used to for the longest time. But now, by some act of God, I have been given an opportunity to share in the spotlight. While I humbly accept this honor, I would like for everyone to indulge me in the next few moments. I don't wish to talk about myself because I know that my achievements are not mine alone. Very far from it, I have been loved and supported by the most amazing people. Truly, my bar journey, my bar experience begins and ends with the people that I'm about to honor tonight. To my professors, who taught me what the grand manner means, thank you. I hope that in my career to come, I can live up to the example you set of what it means to be a UP lawyer. My blockmates, Block A 2022, with 100% passing rate, 2 top-notchers, one of which is number 1. Thank you for being the kind of block that helps each other out. I will always be grateful for all the times that we shared reviewers with each other and helped each other during recitations and sticking with each other for 4 years of law school. I'd also like to thank my brothers in the Alpha Phi Beta fraternity who worked tirelessly to provide me with the materials I needed, the tips, the tricks, and the moral support to get me through the bar examinations. My sisters, Doctores Karina Perez and Isabel Ong, aside from giving me free medical consultations and psychiatric evaluations during the bar exam, they were always the first ones to check in on me during my bar review. Was I sleeping enough? I'm not sure. Was I eating enough? Well, my blazer would probably fit better if I wasn't. And also my significant other, Alex, who's here tonight, was there every bar exam day to take me to the testing center and waited outside the building when it was time to go home. I can't count how many times I asked her, "Do you think I'll pass?" And she would always reply with the exact same words, "I'm sure you will." Those words are what got me through the toughest 4 days of my life. However, more than anyone, my mother, who most of you know as Ate or Tita Mabs, who is also here tonight, is who I'm most thankful for. Widowed at the age of 48 with 3 children still in school, she was the one who took on the full burden of parenthood. I watched her sacrifice more than I knew what was possible. Some of you may know that she has a bad knee. She has trouble walking now. That's actually because she spent years walking, taking the jeep, taking the bus, commuting to save money and to provide us for everything we needed. She would take it upon herself to give us everything, so we had nothing else to do but work hard. When I asked her why she does it, and why she sacrifices even her physical health, she would always say, "It's called support, love." Well, now her support has paid off. She now has 2 doctors and a lawyer. Before my father died, the most valuable lesson he taught us was that when you do something, you do it right. And that's exactly what my mother did. I offer this victory to her. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Luis. And of course, congratulations to the proud mother, Tita Mabs. Now we call on number 15, Charlene and Oliva Hosson.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it has been a couple of days since the release of the bar, but everything still felt surreal. I am doubtful of my abilities, mainly because, well, one of the things that happened during law school was I had to take a remedial exam for Consti 2. I had a hard time dealing with that because, you know, I'm a business major. Anyway, so the day after the bar's last day was actually my birthday. The family even surprised me with something. But all I could think of during that moment was all the mistakes that I made, that I know I made for remedial law 2. It was a difficult subject for me. But my family and all my support system, including UP Law, all my professors, especially one of my mentors, Attorney Litong, pulled me through the bar and through the review. So thank you to everyone, especially to my family. My mom was the one who hugged me the last night before the first day of the bar exam because I was too anxious to even sleep. My dad, who drove me to the venue and who would fetch me from school when I was too tired. And to my brother Jade, who was with me through most of my bar preparation journey. Thank you so much, and I wouldn't have made this without you. Tagumpay po natin ito. Maraming salamat. Congratulations also to everyone who passed the bar, especially to my block, BGC Day 2022, 100% tayo. Congratulations again, everyone. Padayon.
Thank you and congratulations, Charlene. May we call on number 13, JV Rosales Gamboa.
Hello. Okay. I am JVR Gamboa from Evening Block of UP Law Class of 2022. 100% din. Woo! Throughout my 5 years in UP Law, I worked as a researcher and teacher in various institutions. I'm still in disbelief that I'm speaking in front of you today as a bar top-notcher. Never have I imagined nor wished to be here. Oh yes, it is overwhelming. Likewise, and more importantly, it is humbling. Bago ang lahat, gusto ko muna magpasalamat sa aking pamilya, sa aking mga blockmate, sa aking law school barkada na sina Carl, Gia, Mark at Rhea, sa aking mga naging professor sa UP Law, sa aking mga nakatrabaho, at sa aking mga kaibigan na nandyan, naniniwala at nagmamahal. Without romanticizing the bar, as it is simply a licensure exam for the practice of law, let me use this time to share with you whatever brief reflection I may have this evening. Hopefully, we all and whoever may have chance upon this message sooner or later can learn a thing or two from my experience, which can help us become better lawyers, become better educators, and become better persons. It is the centrality of pause. Pause. Panandaliang pagtigil, panandaliang pamamahinga, panandaliang pagninilay. Much of the discourse about the bar revolves around the grind, the rigor, and the hard work that are needed to successfully overcome the exam. There is no doubt that these are important, but what happens in the gap, in the void, in the quietness and stillness of the days and nights are equally essential as well. Sa bawat panandaliang pagtigil, palaging may pagkakataon na muling gumalaw. My bar journey had a very special way of teaching me about the value of pause, which can be seen in 3 moments. First, 3 weeks before the bar, I got sick. Nothing serious really. It was just plain fever, cough, and colds. But it lasted for a whole week, and it was 3 weeks before the bar. I thought that I was in the crucial home stretch, and I just lost a whole week of review. Make no mistake of assuming that I had been reviewing all day and all night, every day, that's why I got sick. People close to me would know that this is not the case. I don't know if this is the same with my fellow bar examinees, but after only 2 to 3 consecutive days of reviewing from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., pagod na pagod na pagod na ako. Sometimes, I would take the equal number of days to just relax. I was just trying to listen to my body. Kung pagod, edi magpahinga. Kaya naman, in my mind, bakit naman ganito? Hindi ko na nga pinipilit ang sarili ko, nagkasakit pa. In hindsight, that was an invitation to pause in preparation for the bar exam proper. Second, taking close to heart that invitation, before I even went to the venue during the first day last November 9, I decided that once I step inside the exam venue, which for me was UPBGC, I will not scan any reviewers or last-minute tips anymore. Ayoko na. Okay? I wanted to prepare myself for the actual exam this way. To illustrate, this would mean sitting and doing nothing for 1.5 hours before the morning exam, and for another 1.5 hours doing nothing before the afternoon exam. While I see almost everyone else in my room scanning through their notes. I ask myself, tama ba itong ginawa ko? During these periods, I would sometimes think of questions to which I definitely do not know or remember the answers. And think, pwede ko kaya itanong sa katabi ko kung nasa notes niya yung sagot? Wag na nga lang, nakakaya, hindi ko kasi kakilala. Panindigan ko na lang to. I went on and did the same routine until the very last bar day. It just kept getting more difficult. Until this point, I do not know if it was naive of me to do this, because I could have salvaged some answers if I used that remaining time to review. However, to some extent, those periods of pause before each exam made me compose myself with the limited time, resources, and humanity that I had. As I stepped inside the exam venue for each bar day, I did my best. There is no space for second guessing, but only a space for faith. Third, let me take you to the first exam of the first bar day, political law. Ibang klaseng kaba, anticipation at excitement ang mabuksan ng unang exam sa Exemplify. 7:30 a.m., nakaupo na lahat ng examinees sa classroom. 7:50 a.m., 7:55 a.m. At this point, I tried connecting my laptop to the designated Wi-Fi of the exam venue. First try, ayaw gumana. Naisip ko, baka kailangan lang ulitin. Okay, reconnect tayo. Ayaw pa rin. I called the attention of our proctors and asked what I should do. I looked around and I think there were at least 2 other examinees who had problems connecting as well. Wait lang daw. A technician will assist us. 8 a.m. I heard the bell signifying the start of the political law exam. I raised my hand and asked again what I should do. Wait lang daw. And I waited. While I heard the clicking of keyboards of my fellow examinees, nasa isip ko, hala, ang dami na nilang nasagutan. Ako hindi pa nakakapagsimula. I think around 20 to 25 minutes passed of the 4-hour exam before I finally asked for the 3rd time what I should do. Again, I asked, pwede po bang magsagot kahit walang wifi? Pwede kaya mamaya na lang ako mag-connect kapag isa-submit na? I can feel the proctor's hesitation as if they are uncertain what the fate of my answers will be. Kahit ako, kabado. Paano kung mawala bigla yung answers ko? But the proctor said, yes, itry mo nga kung mabuksan mo yung exam. I opened the exam and answered it in the best and quickest way that I can because I do not know if any time extension will be given to compensate for the waiting time of 20 to 25 minutes. At that very moment, I learned one thing. It is okay to acknowledge and rest in the pause, but such pause would be pointless if no action comes after. This, finding the balance between pause and action, became my mindset as I went through the rest of the bar. Despite the pause, I had to fight my way through the bar. I fought for every point and left nothing to chance. Kahit marami akong hindi alam at kahit maraming naka-flag sa Exemplify, and I admit this, I fought. Before I end this message, I would like to think that the bar exam itself, including the bar review as well as waiting for the results, is also a pause. Isa rin itong panandaliang pagtigil sa pagtakbo ng ating mga buhay. Kaya naman, napakahalaga rin tingnan at pag-isipan ang pagkakataon na muling gumalaw. To share with the UP Law community, here is where I am right now. Ito ang pinili kong muling paggalaw matapos ang panandaliang pagtigil dahil sa bar. I am working as a Policy and Legal Research Associate in the Manila Observatory with Professor Tony Lavinia. We are working on climate justice, climate change, and human rights, international environmental negotiations, international climate law and policy, and just transition. I am also engaged as a legal consultant for Fair Work Philippines, a part of a global network of researchers based in University of Oxford. We are a team of researchers who engage platforms, those apps where you book a ride, a food delivery service, a courier service, and look into their policies and practices that affect their workers. As the name implies, we ask, is there fair work? I'm also teaching in the Department of Economics of the Ateneo de Manila University. I co-designed and currently teaches a course on economics of labor and employment law, the initial ideas of which came from Malcolm Hall in my labor class with Professor Arnie De Vera. Sa ganitong paraan, ko rin gustong tapusin ang mensaheng ito. Ngayong tapos na ang bar, magandang itanong natin sa ating mga sarili, paano ako muling gagalaw? Para saan at para kanino ako muling gagalaw? Maraming salamat at magandang gabi.
Thank you and congratulations, JV. Before we proceed to the top 5, I would just like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Gabby Concepcion. She's here. Professor Mary Rose Tan. And Professor Senando Angelo Santiago. May we now call on number 5, or top 5, Kim Gia Grande Gatapia.
A pleasant evening to everyone, Dean, former Deans, UP Law professors, the entire UP Law community. To my fellow bar passers, congratulations to all of us. To the proud family and parents who are here, to my mother and my auntie, they're here tonight. Ayan, a pleasant evening to everyone. Thank you so much for organizing this dinner for us bar passers. Ayan. I'm so thrilled to be here tonight, standing in front of you, sharing our experiences. But this time, I'm so happy to be standing in front of my professors because this time it's no longer a graded recitation. Ayan, mag-share na lang kami ng experiences namin and magpapasalamat talaga ng taus-puso sa lahat ng mga taong sumama sa amin at sumuporta to get where we are right now. Ayan. You may know me as someone who ranked 5th in the bar exams. But before that, I was part of the UP Law Evening Block, F 2022. Congratulations to all of us, 100%. Ayan. The group of working students who, despite the demands of daily life, work, ayan, household responsibilities, we chose to wake up every day, to work hard, ayan, strive and survive to achieve our dreams. So alam ko po ang utos sa amin ngayong gabi, mag-share lang ng experiences about the bar. Pero please allow me and please forgive me if my speech might be a little long because I also want to share my and our experiences here in law school. Ayan. So, before law school, before graduating from college, I asked my parents if I could go straight to law school. But then I realized, since 6 kaming magkakapatid, at may 3 pa po akong maliliit na kapatid na nag-aaral, sabi ko, baka kailangan mag-work muna ako, ano. So I looked for work. I was, since hindi po ako sigurado, I was unsure of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to pursue, because I really wanted to be a lawyer. Tinanggap ko po ang unang-unang job offer na natanggap ko. And I ended up working in a bank, which was really unexpected for me because I took up speech communication in college. And this is the most significant speech I'm delivering in my life thus far. Ayan. And for 9.5 years, I stayed with the bank. 3 years into the bank, when I was able to save enough funds already, when I was able to realize that somehow, some way, I was already able to help my family and have a sustainable income, I revisited my plan of going to law school. So nag-try po ako sa UP Law, pero hindi po ganon kataas ang bilib ko sa sarili ko. Iniisip ko po lagi tuwing dumadaan ng UP Ikot Jeep dito, iniisip ko na masyadong malaking institusyon ang UP Law para sa akin. Actually, when I filled out the application form, I felt very intimidated because there were questions, who are the lawyers in your family? Who are your connections? And to tell you honestly, I'm the very first lawyer in our family, both in my father and in my mother's side. But then, after ko mag-take nung lae, pagkalabas ko po ng room, sabi ko sa sarili ko, time na ata para mag-consider ako ng ibang law school. So nag-submit po ako ng application in another law school. And when the results of the first batch of passers came out, I didn't bother to check it anymore. because I expected I wouldn't make it. But then, nung lumabas po yung second batch, I was already in another law school submitting my requirements. When my friends sent me messages na nakapasok daw po ako for LAE admission interview. So, pumunta po ako sa interview. Professor Dante Gatmaitan was one of the interviewers. And paglabas ko po ng interview room, sabi po talaga nung kasunod ko, grabe ang tagal mo. So, bumaba na naman po yung self-confidence ko, and after nun, nag-enroll na po ako sa kabilang law school. But then, Friday or Thursday before the start of the first day in that law school, nagbayad na po ako ng tuition. Lumabas po yung results dito nung mga nakapasa sa interview. And nandun po ako sa San Mateo Shakey's. I was about to meet a bank client. Bebentahan ko po sana ng produkto ng bangko. Nalaman ko po na pumasa ako sa interview. So, hindi pa rin po ako makapaniwala. Minessage ko po ang mama ko na nakapasa ako. Ang nireply niya lang po sa akin ay, magsimba ka. So, winidraw ko po ang enrollment ko. And yeah, for the 5 years I stayed here in UP Law, I learned so many things. I learned how to manage my time well, how to prioritize what's important and what can wait, how to manage my social circle, ayan, to stay alive, have fun pa rin kahit sa umaga nagtatrabaho, sa gabi nag-work. At ang pinakamahalagang natutunan ko po ay kung paano mag-commute, makahanap ng best way, most efficient, fastest way possible para makarating sa UP Law. And I learned that the fastest way is angkas. One time, I was coming from the BPI head office in Makati. I booked a Grab worth 800 pesos. Around 5:30 p.m., nasa Pedro Hill pa lang po ako. 6 p.m. ang class. Hindi po ako aabot. Bumaba na ako, nag-book po ako na angkas for the first time in my life. Pag-sakay ko ng angkas, sabi ko, Kuya, first time ko po ha. Nakarating po ako sa UP Law, 6:02 p.m. At pagkaupo ko, natawag po ako sa recitation. So yun po, marami po talaga akong natutunan. But after 4.5 years, in my last sem here in law school, I decided probably it's time for me to focus on myself. I was able to save enough funds already, and I requested from my former employer if I could take a leave from work to focus on my studies, to focus on the bar. And I thought before the bar review started, mayabang pa po ako. Sabi ko, mag-bar review lang naman. Buong buhay ko, nag-aaral na ako. But 2 weeks into bar review, sinusumpa ko na po yung buhay ko. Hindi ko po pala kaya yung buong maghapon, nagtatrabaho lang. And during the first day of the bar, major blunder ko po talaga ito. I was required to enter Ateneo around 4 a.m., but I arrived at 5 a.m. and I thought notes were not allowed. So I didn't bring anything, only myself and my clear backpack. Only to find out na pwede naman po pala ang notes. Na bago magsimula ang bar ng 8 a.m., pwede ka pang mag-cram ng mga notes, ganyan. So bilang wala po akong dala, from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., nakanganga lang po ako. Habang ang buong tao sa room nagre-review. Pero nung kinahapunan na po, I looked for friends, familiar faces, and may mga nahanap naman po ako who lent me notes. He's not here right now, but I would like to give special thank you to Mr. Enzo Miranda for lending me his UP LMT notes for labor, and meron pong lumabas doon na question at nasagot ko po. And I would also like to thank the UP BOC, ayan, for giving us the UP LMT. Swak na swak po ang karamihan doon. So, actually, di ba ho, binagyan kami, we were given 30 minutes break time before the actual start of each of the bar exam for every subject. And during that 30-minute period, I was just speaking to God, telling Him na, Lord, I know I had to go through so many things in the past because those experiences had to, help me get to this point. I know I have a purpose to serve, so just please help me make it through. Sabi ko, Lord, nakipag-bargain na ako. Lord, alam ko naman pong hindi ako dadating sa point na to para lang iwan mo. Alam ko, Lord, na until the end, nandito ka lang sa tabi ko. So please help me make it through. And ayun na nga po, naitawid po natin. So now, please allow me to give honor and express my deepest, Mariana's trench deep gratitude to all the people who supported me all the way ever since birth. Ayan, to my family, to my parents, and to my siblings, who have given me special treatment ever since. Laging sila po ang nag-a-adjust sa availability ko. Sila rin na nagsasabi na kahit saan ako abutan, doon ako mag-aaral. And not only my immediate family, also our relatives who supported and helped us, financially speaking, because we were not really well off. Kaya now na medyo nakaluwag-luwag na po tayo sa buhay, may means na tayo to help, I always make it a point to give back and choose to be genuinely generous all the time. Because I learned that if you are generous to the people around you and have that gratitude, the universe and the Lord will give it back to you 1,000-fold. So with that, I thank my parents, my family, and to all, to our relatives. My auntie is here, the sister of my mother. It's my mother's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Mama. Next, I would like to thank my boyfriend, who also passed the bar. He's here at the back, Mr. Peter Indunan. Alam niyo po, may nagsabi kanina na kaya namang pagsabayin ang law school at love life. Kaya naman po talaga. Naging boyfriend ko po si Peter first year law school. Ayan po ang una kong na-achieve dito sa law school. Hindi pa po tapos ang semester, may jowa. Naalala ko po noon, nagdikit pa ako ng sticker sa notebook ko. Sabi ko, jiwa versus jowa. Nauna po ang jowa. Thank you to Peter who has made so many things, so much bearable. Ayan. He was with me the entire 5 years. To our friends here in law school, my personal friends even outside law school, and to my blockmates, I know we've been through a lot, but thank you kasi solid pa rin tayo ngayon, 100%. Ayan. To my workmates in BPI, I've always thanked God every day when I get asked how I was able to balance things, work and school. I always tell people that God blessed me with very generous, kind, supportive bosses and workmates. And of course, I would like to thank the entire UP law community. Ayan, to our professors who are here, I thanked all of you already. Ayoko na pong isa-isahin, baka may makalimutan ako. But thank you. Thank you so much for being such an inspiration to all of us, for motivating us, ayan, for encouraging us, for being so lenient with us, especially evening students. And to the staff also of the UP Law community na talaga namang kahit 10 p.m. na nandito pa kami, they're also still here with us. And to God, of course. Ayan. Every day of my life, I thank God. And I realized that all things happen for a reason. Hindi po ako iiyak ngayong gabi. Pinipigilan ko na po yung luha ko. But until now, for me, it still feels surreal. Everything that's happening in my life right now. And sorry Lord, kung tinatanong ko pa rin kayo kung anong nagawa ko sa buhay for me to achieve the things that I have right now. So God has been so generous. His grace is truly unending. And I just have a message to my fellow bar passers, to my almost newly minted lawyers after we take the oath. And I hope this milestone in our lives will usher in even more opportunities and victories for us. And I hope that no matter what happens, we will always strive and choose to be the best, the kindest, most diligent, most compassionate lawyers we can ever be. And see you on the other side of the bench. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you and congratulations, Kim. Before we proceed to our fourth placer, may we recognize or acknowledge the presence of Professor Ferdy Fider and Professor Jose Miguel Palarca. May we call on number 4, our 4th placer, Andrea Jasmine Onyu.
Thank you. Thank you to my cheering squad. Good evening, everyone. It is a great privilege for me to be able to speak before you today and to be able to celebrate such a joyous occasion. Honestly, I share so many similar sentiments with the other speakers before me, so I'll try my best to keep this short. The past few days have been a blur. It's just been an overwhelming outpour of love and gratitude and support from everyone around me. And of course, naturally, the first question that people ask is, oh ano, in-expect mo bang magpa-place ka? And to that, I answer an honest no. I remember going home on the second day of the bar exam, just thinking about all the mistakes that I made, thinking of how better I could have answered other questions, and just feeling bad. But little did I know that the most exciting part would come on the last day, right before my REM 2 exam, when my laptop decided to update itself, crash, and display a blue screen of death. So I ran to my proctor, asking her if I could just take a handwritten exam, what I can do, just panicking. And she told me to calm down. Thankfully, I was able to secure a spare laptop from Ateneo 5 minutes prior to the REM 2 exam. And while walking back to the room, I told my proctor, grabe naman si Lord, ginawa pang exciting yung last exam ko. And to that, she replied, don't worry, ibig sabihin nito, mapa-perfect mo tong exam na to. And looking back now, I think that really, maybe God was working His mysterious ways at that time. When I think back to that moment and all the hurdles that we went through during the bar review season, I just can't help but feel a sense of gratitude and pride because we have come a long way. Although I do acknowledge that we're still at the start of our journey. Now that we're all starting our work in our respective firms or places of employment, I feel again like a law school freshman, just lost, I don't know what to do. But I know that we'll get there with the support of those around us. So I hope that you can allow me this opportunity to thank everyone that has helped me get here. First, of course, my parents, who are there right now, and my siblings. So Mom, Papa, Ach, Dich, Ahya, thank you really for being the first people who believed in me and who would always be on the receiving end of all my whininess after bad recitations or bad exams. Thank you also to my blockmates, to Block E 2022. We all passed the bar exam, so congratulations to us. Especially, special mention, Tippy, Angel, Burns, Ayla. Also, Julia, Christian, Peter, Max, Belle, Kino. Done? Done? Okay, yes. So congratulations to us, and thank you for making law school life so easy. I know that good blockmates are sometimes hard to find, but I think we were lucky to find each other. And of course, thank you to all of you, our professors and all of the staff of UP Law for guiding us thus far. And also to my friends outside of law school, my fiancé, Rafael, who has always been so supportive and who encourages me throughout my self-doubt. And of course, to God, without whom none of this would be possible. Congratulations again to everyone and a pleasant evening to all.
Thank you and congratulations, Andrea. Before I call on our number 3, our third placer, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Cristina Bonoan. She's here also. Up next, number 3, Christian Claire Talavera Crehencia. Is she here?
Hi, good evening. Oops. Wait. Okay. So, Parang kailan lang our batchmates were still in our first year of college. Very clueless and just trying to survive our first year at Malcolm Hall. I could still clearly remember the nights when I would go home and drive myself home while crying. It was the only time I could give myself considering the very fast-paced environment in Malcolm. But after more than 4 years of hard work, sleepless nights, tears, and stress, we're finally here. We finally passed the dreaded bar examinations. So to my batchmates, congratulations to all of us. Of course, this wouldn't have been possible without the help of our dearest UP Law community, Chancellor Vistan, Ma'am Chi, all of our dearest professors, Ola, the other UP Law staff, and of course, our friends, our blockmates, Block D, and to my family. So my dad and my sister are here today, and also thanks to my mom, and my grandma, my titas and titos, who's all been very supportive. We've all had our struggles during the bar exam season. I was really fortunate that I had family and friends who were very supportive and who really believed in me. However, it doesn't take away the fear and the self-doubt that is accompanied by the bar examination, which I know most, if not all of us, felt. I heard people around me constantly saying na, "You've got this, you're from UP Law, you're going to pass the bar exam for sure." But I couldn't help but worry and wonder, am I doing the right thing? Am I studying the right materials? Am I studying enough? Especially during the days when my brain refused to cooperate and I couldn't seem to comprehend anything. Then throughout the bar examination weeks, I would always doubt myself and worry whether I was able to answer the questions correctly or explain my answers sufficiently. The advice to bar takers is to never check the suggested answers after the exam. But my friends would know that I would always call them after the exam and ask for their answers. I would research the possible answers to the bar examination and rethink my answers. It was really mental torture. Then on the second and third day of the bar examination, I forgot to bring my lunch. So I had to survive the whole day with just my candies. It was really stressful by the time of the afternoon exam. I was already really hungry and lightheaded. After that, it felt like things weren't working out for me. But here we are now. But diba nga, what we learned in UP is that even if there are bad recits or bad days, we can break down for like 10 to 30 minutes, and after that, we push through and we continue to fight. And I'm glad that we did because now we're here. We can finally relax. We have passed the bar examination. Makakapag K-drama, K-pop, Netflix na tayo without worry. And we're just a few steps away from officially becoming lawyers. But amid all the joy and celebrations, I hope we remember that this is only the beginning and we still have so much to learn. Now let us apply the law that was taught to us in the grand manner, and let us work hard to become the great lawyer that we've always wanted to be. Someone we can be proud of, someone our families and our friends and the UP Law community can be proud of. So to our dearest family, friends, again to my blockmates, and to the UP Law community, we hope we made you proud and we hope to continue to make you proud. Again, congratulations to all of us and thank you so much, UP Law.
Thank you and congratulations, Christian. Next, I'd like to call on our second placer, Erickson Cayabyab Marinas.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. First of all, congratulations, Batch 2022! We made it. Okay, so we were asked to talk about our bar experience, no? But I don't think it's really any different from the one that has already been said here, no? The sleepless nights, the eye strains, the back pains, the mental anxieties and all. So instead, allow me to talk about an observation or a realization that I had not realized until I took 4 days in the bar exams. So as most of you may know, there's a lot of downtime during the exam itself. When we line up for security and health checks in the morning after the arrival, the 30-minute wait time between the first and the second bell, during lunch, and even when going home. I, personally, was with my blockmate and study buddy Sam Cepeda, who was in the same building with me. And we were stationed in the Building M in Ateneo. So on the first day, of course, we were in the zone, so focused on ourselves and in remembering what we were all trying to remember that we did not even have the time to talk to one another, let alone take an observation about the environment that we were suddenly put in. However, on the second day, we began to notice how privileged and lucky we were as bar takers. First, how we were young and healthy, with reviewers in our hands, adept with using computers and all. This is after we would notice older people, some definitely senior citizens who would slouch down as they typed on their computers and laptop keyboards, whereas we didn't even need to look down when we typed on our screens. Some bar takers who didn't even have last-minute tips in their hands, whereas we would have more than enough things to read than time to read. And also, while going home, we noticed commuters who still had to take public transportation after a very long day of exam and with tired energies. So these observations at one point made us feel like we didn't have an excuse not to pass the bar. We had everything. So what does this mean? The Supreme Court has, of course, prided itself for having so many innovations already in the bar exams. Regionalization, computerization, and all. However, after being immersed 4 days in the biggest testing center in Ateneo, I can say that some people are still left behind. And for us, the proper response would be to pay it forward. I've said it before and I'll say it again. In fact, I'll never stop saying this. I am only here because of the generosity of the many people who I've met along the way. In my case, in particular, the Bar Ops Commission, who provided us with Chair's Digest, our bar buddies, my study group in particular, Tin, Sam, Karen, and Alex, my blockmates who would motivate us and even drive us into the bar venue, org mates who would give us wake-up calls, and of course, the Filipino people who at one point funded our education. As now members on the other side of the bar, there is so much that we can also do. First and foremost, as I'm sure some of us has already done, we can share the materials that we've had to other bar takers, preferably for free. We can also answer the question posed by future bar takers, even from strangers, instead of just dismissing them. Siyempre, as a top-notcher, I received quite a lot of messages on Messenger, di ba? From people I do not know asking for tips. And I could have as easily just snubbed them, di ba? Kasi sa message request lang naman. But for me, I recognized that being this blessed, I had the responsibility to share what I know with them. And finally, as beneficiary of the scholarship program here in UP, I think we can all contribute to the scholarship fund when we can, maybe 5 or so years from now when we have extra money, di ba? I was fortunate enough to have been given a bar allowance to rent a place near Katipunan, and I recognize that for some, they do not have this, especially for those who are in the province. So, that's my speech. But of course, I just also want to take this opportunity to thank my family, my mom and sister who are here this evening. Yes. And my dad in heaven, who sadly passed away too soon when I was second year in law school, who I'm sure is very proud of me. Yes. And of course, allow me, since minsan lang daw to, my second family here in law school, Block C 2022. So isa-isayin ko yung mga pangalan nila. Karen, Steph, Neil, Joshi, Kay, Nina, Emil, Jewel, Carlo, Sam, Renee, Tin, Jed, Joey, Neil, Ruth, Jules, Edwin, Pat, Ali, Fatima, Trisha, David, Gab, Paul, Alay, Joji, Mitzi, Ben, Gab, Alex, and May. So, Yan. So again, congratulations to Batch 2022. Remember the faces that we saw during the 4 days in the bar exam and remember to pay it forward.
Thank you and congratulations, Erickson. Now we call on the one we've all been waiting for. Batch 2022's class valedictorian and first placer in the bar, Zar Matthew Gerard Torres Dayday.
Good evening, everyone. So, ayun. At this point, I could honestly just say na uulitin ko na lang lahat ng sinabi nila kasi yun din naman sasabihin ko. Pero syempre, let me also give some of my 2 cents. Okay. So, the last time I spoke before this group of people, I said that our graduation ceremony theme, Sinag, symbolizes the rise of a new dawn in a world that is rapidly changing. And indeed, sabi nga ni Taylor Swift featuring Ed Sheeran, everything has changed. You know, it wouldn't be exaggerating when I say that siguro last Friday, for everyone here today, all of our lives have dramatically changed. So, like what the others before me have said, we were asked to talk about our bar experiences. And siguro like everyone else then, a talk about our bar experience wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about our law school experience. So, when I first came into law school, I was unsure. I didn't know na, hala, okay ba ako magiging law student? I mean, I think okay naman ako in undergrad, but I didn't know if that would translate well into law school. And of course, in the first few days of law school, we all thought na, hala, this is something different, no? In undergrad, okay lang siguro kung papasok ka ng class na doon mo palang babasahin yung material for the day. Pero if ginawa ko yun sa person's class ni Ma'am Beth, baka, hala, hindi ako makakasagot in the recitation. Kapag hindi pa ako nagbasa ng case beforehand, baka mapagalitan pa ako or worse, masingko. So, law school really taught me to focus on my studies, to be more diligent, to take it and to be more responsible with the everyday study that I would do. So, I guess one of the most memorable moments I had in law school was when I came into class one day. Hindi ko na sabihin aling class or aling professor kasi ang dami kong professors na nandito. Baka retroactively i-change pa yung grade ko. Pero I came into class one day. Yung class namin was, let's say, 9 a.m. So pumasok ako ng room, 9:02 a.m. Nag-start na yung class, late na ako. So pagpasok ko ng room, nandun na yung prof, papasok pa lang ako. Saktong-sakto pagdating ko sa seat ko, biglang tinawag, Mr. Dayday. So ako, kakarating ko pa lang, ma'am, sir, pwede bang time first muna? Pero hindi naman natin yung pwedeng sabihin in front of our professors. So ako nag-recite ako ng case habang nagliligpit ako ng gamit, habang nilalabas ko yung laptop ko, habang nilalabas ko yung notes ko. Tapos thankfully naitawid naman, na parang okay naman daw. Tapos syempre ako feeling ko, okay, kailangan kong bumawi. I need to do a better recitation. So may tinawag na other student in that same class. And then, the prof asked for volunteers kasi parang medyo may hinahanap siyang ibang sagot. So ako, nabida-bida, I said, okay ma'am, sir, I volunteer. Tapos nag-volunteer ako. Tapos napaka-confident ko pa na, oh, you know ma'am, sir, this is actually what happened in that case, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos na-realize ko na nung nag-reset ako, yung mukha ng ibang classmates ko parang, you know that face when they're hearing something unsavory. So ako, hala, bakit kaya? So parang sabi naman ng prof namin, gumagano naman siya, mukhang okay naman yung sinasabi ko. Tapos pinaupo niya na ako and okay naman yung grade ko. Tapos when I sat down, yung katabi ko, sabi sa akin, Matt, maling case na recite mo, yun pa yung next case, hindi pa yun ngayon. So, na-realize ko na law school is also all about faking it until you make it. It's really about the confidence. So if you could trick your professor into thinking you recited the right case, then maybe you could carry that, you know, that mindset with you to the rest of your law school and bar experience. Na you could trick yourself into thinking na even if tingin mo hindi mo na kaya, even if you think na hala baka hindi pa enough yung inaral ko, enough naman pala. So, ayun. And like what all the other previous bar top-notchers have said, this isn't our victory alone. You know, passing the bar and topping the bar wouldn't be possible without the village that allowed us to develop into the people who we are now. Sabi nga nila, it takes a village to raise a child. And it certainly takes a city, if not a town, if not a village, to raise a bar top-notcher. So I would first like to thank my parents, my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister who are here right now. Sila yung very first people na ma-realize kung gaano ka bossy or irritable or impatient ako na kapag when I would go home every weekend to our house na very irritable ako kasi sabi ko, hala, kailangan ko pang mag-aral, hindi, kailangan ko pang basahin to. Na minsan hindi na nila ako mautusan or makatulong sa chore, sa bahay, ganon. So, thank you to my parents for all the sacrifice, for all the patience, for all the unbearable, the unending, and bearing with me for all the 4 years and more while I was in law school and even when I was taking the bar exams. And of course, to our professors, to our law school community, to the professors who I would not be here without if I wasn't able to learn from them. Not only, you know, the content that we need to answer our exams, but also the competencies, the abilities, the attitudes we would need, not only as good law students, but as proper lawyers and UP law lawyers as that, who were trained in the grand manner to be great lawyers, who would someday embody honor and excellence and serve the country. I would like to offer a round of applause to the whole UP Law community, especially our law professors, for molding us into the students and lawyers that we are now. And of course, dahil minention na rin nila lahat, I would also like to mention my block, A2022, 100% bar passing rate. So sabi nila dahil minention din daw nila Eric and nila Gia and other bar top, and ni Drea also. So sige, isa-isahin ko na rin sila. So, si Tina, si Idge, si Kyle, si Kim, si Rich, si Cel, si Denise Munoz, Roxanne Samyo, Den Ventilacion, Kitten Velayo, Luis Perez, Aya Bautista, and Josh De Fiesta, who all took the bar with me and passed the bar. Congratulations to each and every one of us. And of course, also to our blockmates, A2022 Season 2. You know that we are all with you every step of the way, and we can't wait. And we can't wait for you to finally be with us on this side of the bench. But of course, I would also like to thank the people who are special to me. So, South China Sea experts, SESE, Aya, Idge, Tina, Rich, Denise Munoz, Dan Ventilacion, and also, of course, Marial Conanan and Joe Morabe, who are no longer here in law school with us, but would always be a part of our integral group. I would like to thank everyone, and I would count myself lucky, na nung gumagawa tayo ng midterm paper for legal method, I would have thought na sumama ako sa inyo to study in CBTL Regis because I didn't know that that would be the start of a lifelong friendship. And of course, madami nagtatanong sa akin, sino daw ba yung tatlong friends na sasabi kong nag-scribble gabi-gabi? Tapos, so I think, sorry if I'm gonna be a bit vain na this time. Hindi ko alam kung napanood nyo na yung interview in Inquirer. So that was the very first interview I did. Tapos sinabi ko nga dun sa reporter na, I studied with 3 friends during the bar review season. Pero hindi ko sila pinangalanan. Tapos after lumabas nun, minessage ako ng 3 friends na yun na sabi, bakit wala man lang name mention? So, babawi na ako today. So, Bern de la Cruz, Amir Madkasim, and Aloy Bresnan, who is currently flying home from DC after coaching our award-winning UP Law Jessup 2023 team. So, gusto ko lang ikwento kung paano nag-start yung tradition na yun, no? So, me, Aloy, and Burns are part of the UP Law 2022 Jessup team, and Amir has always been one of my closest friends since even in undergrad. So I think he became a part of our group na din. So kami na yung mga nag-aaral before bar review, during bar review at the start. Kami na yung mga kasama nag-aaral. Kapag may questions, tinatanong-tanong ko na rin sila. So we thought, why not just make one big group chat? So ako yung gumawa ng group chat naman in Telegram. And then nilagay ko yung pangalan, Top Notchers. Sabi ko, why not claim it na? Tapos habang as bar review went, September, October, panalitan na namin yung pangalan namin. From Top Notchers to Sure Pass. Kasi parang, ang laki naman ng sites natin masyado. Tapos 1 week before the bar exam, panalitan na namin. From Sure Pass to sana kahit 75% okay na. But little did we know na we would all be here right now, happy and having passed the bar exams. So yung scribble tradition namin, para na rin ma-share ko na, what we would do every night, 8 p.m., we would go on Zoom to study together. Hindi kami papansinan. We would all be studying different things, and we would all be studying different subjects. Pero nandun lang kami sa Zoom. Kasi this was the time that the COVID restrictions were a bit strict pa. We couldn't really study out together. That was the time na medyo naglo-loosen up pa lang. So medyo hesitant lahat ng tao to study out pa. So we would study in Zoom. Tapos niisip namin 10 p.m. na parang, August pa lang nun, meron pa tayong 3 buwan, baka naman masira na ulo natin if ganito lang gagawin natin every night. So we played Scribble. If you don't know Scribble, it's Pictionary in a word form. Someone would draw whatever the guessword was, tapos huhulaan namin. Tapos lagi nila sinasabi sa akin na ang pangit daw ng drawing ko. Which admittedly, pangit naman talaga ako mag-drawing. It's my sister who got all the creative skills in the family. Because she's now a graduating student in the UP Law College of Fine Arts. So, evidently, saan niya napunta lahat ng artistic side of the family at walang natira sa akin. So I had to make do with what drawing skills I had. So that was our way to de-stress every night. And that turned also into, a friendship that I am very, very thankful for. And just an idea of how thankful I am for this friendship. The night before the criminal law exam, nag-isip kami, okay, gagawa tayo ng sarili nating last-minute tips. Diba? Parang ang kapal naman ng mukha namin. Sino ba kami? Hindi naman kami bar review institution. Hindi naman kami bar ops commission to make the last-minute tips of our own. Pero coming for, okay, fine, gawa tayo. In criminal law, what we did was we had this copy of the syllabus, tapos we would just paste case doctrines. Kasi yun na-realize namin na, yung exam, parang puro cases. Kung if hindi cases na Justice Kagiwa, recent cases. So we did that. And then yung Crim Law 2 exam, yun na yung ginamit kong LMTs for the morning during the second day of the bar. And I just, read through and memorized the case doctrines na nilagay namin doon. Na kami lang din nag-compile. Lo and behold, 5 questions out of 15 questions in that exam, 1/3 of the questions were exactly the same questions na nilagay namin at tinype namin dun sa document na yon. So after nung lunchtime, nakita ko si Amir dahil magkalapit lang kami ng room. Sabi ko, grabe naman to. Sana pala tayo na lang yung nag-examiner kung mahuhulaan naman pala natin yung exam. Pero we realized na it's what friendship is. And I would like to say na for all those who will take the bar in the future, this coming bar, the subsequent bars, really, really surround yourselves with people, like-minded people who would help you become the best version of yourself. And lastly, before I end my speech, I don't know if you have seen the tweets of Professor Theodore Te and Professor Paolo Tomase about how there needs to be reforms in our legal education. And alam ko that this is a very joyous moment for all of us, especially for me as a top-notcher, especially for our families. But I couldn't help but share their sentiments, that even if I'm here celebrating this achievement, this really, really wonderful achievement, I would have to echo the sentiments of Professor Theodore Te and Professor Paolo Tomase about how the bar exam needs to be a qualifying licensure exam. And as Professor Ted Te said, the test of how good a lawyer a person can be is not in those few days of testing in the bar exam. It is in the lifetime of service, of learning new things, of helping, of excelling in any field of law. And legal education should assist in character formation on top of skills acquisition and not just bar passing. So I would like to leave my speech I would like to leave everyone with this thought that legal education, as it is now, is good because it produced, the UP College of Law has produced 11 out of 30 top-notchers and almost 94% of bar passers. But I think that we still need to do more. That we as an institution should be at the forefront of reforming legal education, not just to produce bar passers, not just to produce bar top-notchers, but to stay true to what is written here and produce great lawyers who are trained in the grand manner. So, thank you everyone and a pleasant evening to you all.
Thank you and congratulations, Matthew. Thank you. Congratulations again to all our 11 placers in the top 30. And congratulations, of course, to batch 2022, the 2022 bar passers. So before I call on Chancellor for his toast, may I request... Wala pa. We will, may I request everyone to stand up and to sing UP Naming Mahal. So, Chancellor Carlo will have a few words for us.
I invite everyone to get a glass of wine, please. And please stay for the refreshments after. Attention everyone, no? Attention, para di muna kayo mag-disperse. We still have a toast. And we still have dinner, some food and wine to share with everyone after. So mag-a-adlib muna ako habang dinidistribute yung wine. I'm not sure if you realize it, no, but within this same year, another bar exam will be held and another set of bar exam results will be released. So what's next, though? What's next for UP Law? It's very exciting. But for now, we anticipate what's next for our soon-to-be new lawyers. Okay, I'm just happy to note, during the speeches of our bar top-notchers, how humble or level-headed you still are despite your achievements. Masyado nyo yata sinunod yung instructions na mag-share kayo na experiences. Hindi kayo nasabihan na pwede naman magyabang ng konti. But I'm happy to note that you still keep your head, your humility, despite your excellent showing. So I believe it's safe to start the toast. So, because you elevated what excellence means, you inspired us with your inspiring, you are an inspiration to us all because of your inspired performance. We await what you will bring to our alma mater next. Cheers, mabuhay kayong lahat. Congratulations to you all.